Paul Dewar, first of all, we are just before this open session where the delegates here at the convention are going to have a chance to talk about what they feel went wrong with the election or during the election. You were part of the committee, the party committee that reviewed what went wrong. I'm wondering, what are you expecting from this session?
Well, hopefully just a wide open conversation. You know, the report was done, the review is out there. In fact, we had an interim report a couple of months ago, and the final report obviously was done just recently, and it's been out there for people. And hopefully what we're going to get is a wide open discussion, because we really need to dig in to what happened and get opinions and feedback, frankly, from the membership. So hopefully it's going to be a really good open session, hearing from people about the report itself and people's feedback.
When you produce that report, I mean, you mentioned there's an interim report and then there was the final report. When you produce those reports on what you found or what the membership was telling you went wrong, you lived it yourself. You lost your riding, you lost, after a long time, very popular MP. Was there anything that surprised you that came up?
From the members, no, it was kind of affirming what we'd already heard. There was a couple of nuggets, that people touched on. I'll give you one very concrete one, was that people were saying, at the beginning, it was very clear that what was on people's minds, voters' minds, when our volunteers were going door to door, and that was they just wanted to get rid of Harper. And one of the things that we kind of carried on with throughout the campaign was that we needed to get rid of Harper. Well, turns out that people had already decided that. And one of the things that kind of we pulled out of that review, and I kind of connected with myself, was that we should have assumed that, built that into our campaign, that people were ready to get rid of Harper, and that we needed to be stronger on saying why we should be that party that should replace Harper. That was one, and that was really helpful hearing from people on that.
So in other words, really focusing on we are the real change, because there was the battle for who incarnated change.
Yeah, that whole change issue, who was the best party for change, that was part of it. Was, we should have probably had a better sense of the fact that people already moved on from Harper in many cases, and hard to generalize here because in different regions it was different, but that was a real important nugget, in that we need, and I sensed that a bit, but we were hearing that from the grassroots. And the other thing was just that we needed to do a better job of a feedback loop. What I mean by that is hearing from our folks on the ground and feeding into the central campaign as to what was happening. That came out loud and strong and clear, and that's very helpful. We have to take that seriously.
In the session, there's going to be, it's not a secret, there's going to be a lot of anger. A lot of anger directed at the leadership of the party, but also directed maybe at the leader of the party. Yeah. Have you come out publicly, have you made a decision on whether there should be leadership review?
Well, I was part of the review, so I was someone who was taking that very seriously and soberly. So I didn't get involved in saying, this is about keeping the leader on. I wanted to make sure I wasn't part of that conversation. I can tell you what I've heard from people is that they're saying, look, it wasn't one person, it wasn't just one element that they're pointing to as in terms of what was a very disappointing outcome, I have to say, in the end. And what I'm hearing from, what I heard from people, the people I was talking to, is that they saw it was a matter of just what I said in terms of, how we framed the change argument. Some of the issues around issues like the deficit, absolutely people brought up. So there was some stuff, put at the feet of the leader. There was other stuff that was put, frankly, at how the campaign rolled out. There was other stuff, like you've heard, about the NICAB in Quebec. So collectively, these things kind of we were hearing from. I didn't get a lot of anger from people, I'll be honest with you, at Tom directly.
But have you made up a decision? Have you taken a stand?
I'm seeing that it's important to keep Tom there, and I just say that personally. I don't want to, influence the work I did on the review panel. But what I think we need to do right now is focus on this review, and Tom has to do that as well. And what he has to do is show that he's taking this seriously, and show on Sunday in his speech that he has a plan to go forward, and that he's got to lay it out to people and gain the confidence of the membership here.
Okay, then I guess the million-dollar question is, do you have any sense, because we're all running around asking each other, and you are all asking each other the same question. Yeah. Do you have any sense of where this is going to go on Sunday, what the result is going to be in that vote on Sunday?
Well, no, I haven't polled everyone. I think, that's part of what we're going through now is the discussions around it. I think most people are satisfied that we, have to have a plan going forward to kind of reboot. I'm not sure it's a rebuild equation, but to reboot the party, to get out there. And again, they're looking for Tom to say, okay, I get it, and here's what I'm going to do to be part of that. And frankly, this is all hands on deck. This is all of us as members have a role to play, and that's really critical.
The last question, your name comes up when people talk about the last election. They talk about Megan Leslie, they talk about Peter Stauffer, they talk about Paul Dewar, ridings where you had a long-serving, well-respected, very popular, relatively secure, one thought, NDP MP. You were defeated. Have you given any thought to running again?
No, not right now. I'm enjoying my post-electoral life right now. No, that's not the kind of thing I'm thinking about right now. I'm very involved in a whole bunch of different issues. The refugee issue, I'm working with an NGO and on their board. I'm traveling and working a bit, so I'm very involved in that. But I have to say on the point, and I said this when I was elected, there is no such thing as a safe seat, nor should there be. And the way our democracy works is that it's up to people to decide, and they decided, and I wasn't on the winning side. So it's a humbling experience, but it's an important one. And for all politicians to understand, you should never take anything for granted. And clearly, that was something we all, Megan went through, Jack Harris, Peter Stauffer, Andrew Cash. I could go on. We went through it, and my wife joked, at least I wasn't alone.
Okay, Paul Dewar, thank you very much. We will watch the session tonight with great interest. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you.